At the start of the movie, we see a woman lying in a pool of water. She has injuries on her face, and it appears that she is badly injured. Following this, the scene cuts to a beautiful forest that is far away from the city. We see a little girl named Helena running around, trying to find something. Her mother asks her to come home, but she ignores her and keeps running. Soon, Helena approaches a hunter, who is revealed to be her father, Jacob. They seem to have a special bond, as she feels really comfortable with him. The two then set out for their next hunt, with Jacob guiding her in every step. Despite her little age, Helena turns out to be very experienced as she can guess an animal's behavior, just by observing its footsteps. Soon after, they come across a large deer grazing in the fields. Jacob entrusts his favorite rifle to the little girl and asks her to take the shot. However, before she can do so, the deer catches wind of their presence and runs away. This reveals that Helena still has a lot to learn. As soon as they come home, the mother appears to be in a bad mood, and Helena tells Jacob that her mother is always mad at her. Regardless of Helena's failed attempt, Jacob rewards her by tattooing a symbol on her hand. The following day, as she is wandering around the woods as usual, she hears her mother's screams. Helena rushes to the scene, and finds her dad helping her mom out of the water. It appears that the woman accidentally drowned in the river. That night, the little girl practices playing her favorite bird flute, but she stops the moment her mother says to. Helena places the flute near the window, where she has also placed two stick figures. In the morning, the father-daughter duo once again sets out for hunting. When they check one of their traps, they find a wolf's leg hanging there. Helena is confused, so the wise father explains that the wolf sacrificed its own leg to escape. After this, the two manage to catch some animals for their meal, and Helena receives a brand new tattoo, this time on her neck. We learn that Helena already has several of these tattoos across her body, including her face. Later, as she plays with her dad, we see that 3 of his teeth are made of gold. The scene then cuts to nighttime where Helena is startled awake from her sleep by some howling sounds. She slowly opens the door, only to find a malnourished wolf outside. Soon, Jacob joins her and reveals that the wolf is starving. Helena proposes that they feed it with their scraps, but the dad refuses, as he believes that they should not interfere with nature. Instead, he hands her his gun, asking her to put the animal out of its misery. Helena, who is always fearless and confident, hesitates this time as she doesn't want to kill the poor animal. But when she takes too long, Jacob snatches the gun from her and does the job himself. He then says you must always protect your family, implying that the wolf could have been a threat to them. The following morning, Jacob heads out on a solo hunting trip. Helena wants to go with him, but he convinces her to stay by promising to bring a surprise for her. That night, mom and daughter sleep alone, but they barely talk to each other. The little girl also doesn't pay much attention to her. As soon as the sun rises, Helena spends time outside of their house. But then, a while later, a man arrives on his quad bike, looking for directions to the city. He appears to be lost in this deep forest. Helena is completely dumbfounded. It is evident that this is the first time she is seeing another person apart from her parents, let alone the engine quad bike. Suddenly, the mom comes out of the house, and starts pleading with the stranger for help. She asks the man to take them away from here, stressing that they leave before he arrives. But then,
Hey, that's why I'm...
the man is shot from a distance and killed, and the shooter is none other than Jacob. Witnessing this, mom frantically tries to escape on the quad bike with her daughter. However, the little girl, who loves her dad a lot, doesn't want to go. When she keeps on resisting, mom knocks her out with a rock. She then drives through the dark forest and eventually escapes. When Helena awakens, she finds herself on a bed in the local police station. As she looks around the place in confusion, a kind police officer named Clark approaches her, and assures her that she is safe now. Helena demands to see her father, but Clark says that he's not here. Following this, the little girl approaches her mother for answers. Here the mother surprisingly claims that Jacob kidnapped the mother long ago, and took her to the woods, but Helena doesn't believe anything that mom is saying. It is evident that Jacob taught her all this. Officer Clark then locks her in a room, but the little girl is well trained for situations like these, so she easily escapes through the window. She then wanders around the city, and notices things like lights, cars, buildings, and teenagers for the first time. Soon after, the sound of a bird flute reaches her ears. She meets her dad in an alley and the two have an emotional reunion. But before he can take her away, the police arrive at the scene. Jacob promises his daughter that he will find her soon. He then tries to run away, but the cops easily catch up to him. Following this, the movie cuts to several years later, and we see that Helena is now a grown-up woman. She is currently working at an office, implying that she has moved on from her difficult childhood days. She has also removed the tattoos on her face, but the marks still appear. After work, she goes to pick up her daughter, Marigold, from school. The two appear to be really close to each other, as they often visit the park and spend time there. Little Marigold is fascinated by her mom's tattoos, and wonders when she can get one, but Helena strictly forbids her from getting them. Later, they reach home, where they are welcomed by Helena's husband, Stephen. He appears to be a loving man, who cares about his family a lot. In the next scene, the couple attend an event, and upon noticing Helena's tattoos, Stephen's friends become very curious and ask about it. Our girl lies that she got it in San Francisco when she was a teenager. She also lies that her parents had normal jobs, just like anyone else. Elsewhere, we see a police van, which is transporting some criminals to their new cells. Among them, one of them is revealed to be Jacob. When the guard is not watching, he coughs up a pin, and secretly unlocks his cuffs. Despite being old and frail, he is still adamant on making his escape and attacks the guards. The next day, when Helena returns home from work, she is taken aback to find a swarm of cops there. Even some FBI officials are in attendance. The chief approaches a confused Helena and reveals that her father, along with another inmate, have escaped captivity. The chief asks Helena if she has any information about her father, but the latter denies it. Just then, Stephen enters the room, and here we learn that even the husband is unaware about her gruesome past. He was under the impression that Helena's parents died in a car accident. Since Helena's father is a deadly killer, he has been dubbed the Marsh King. Enraged and disappointed, Stephen takes his daughter and leaves the house. The cops still believe that Helena is in contact with her father, so they ask for her cell phone and computer records. In the news, it is revealed that Jacob kidnapped her mom, and held her captive for 12 long years. Although she managed to escape with her daughter, she became so traumatized that she eventually took her own life. Later in the evening, Helena calls her husband, and he reveals that he and little Marigold are staying at a hotel, just in case, and he doesn't talk to her for long. Now, with nothing else to do, Helena goes to the basement, and brings out her box of tools. She finds her bird whistle and a dagger, which her father had gifted her long ago, and she reminisces about the past for a while. Later that night, she cannot sleep, so she goes to a nearby lake at midnight, and takes a dip. Elsewhere, we see that Jacob and the other prisoner have been picked up by some men. The following morning, Helena is visited by Clark, who is still working as an officer. He appears to be genuinely concerned for her, and tries to ask about her condition. However, Helena doesn't open up to him. As they continue talking, Clark reveals that he wanted Helena and her mom to be a part of his family, but that could never be possible because of mom's untimely death. Regardless, Clark still sees Helena as his daughter. Their conversation is interrupted when another officer shows up, and summons Helena to the station for an urgent reason. Upon arriving, the chief reveals shocking news: Jacob and his criminal friend died while trying to cross the border. They got into an accident, which burned their whole car down. Although the bodies were burnt beyond recognition, the police were able to identify Jacob using his golden teeth. Helena doesn't know how to react to this news, and she thinks her father was already dead 20 years ago. That evening, her family finally returns home, and she embraces her daughter tightly. Stephen finally forgives her for her lies, but asks why she did this. In response, Helena claims that if she hadn't lied, he would never have married her. The husband understands her concerns, but asks her to be more transparent the next time. Later that day, as the husband is about to leave for work, he says that all he wants is for his wife to be honest with him, and not think badly of him. This makes Helena emotional, so she stops her husband's car. She then reveals all the tattoos on her body, explaining the significance of every single one of them. When she asks if Stephen would like to marry a Marsh King's daughter like her, her husband hugs her lovingly, and the two reconcile. In the morning, the couple, along with Marigold, meet Clark. The old man is over the moon to meet the little girl, and he hopes that she can call him grandfather one day. He also displays numerous pictures of Helena which he has still kept to this day, and this alone indicates how much he loves her. Helena also reciprocates the affection with a warm hug, promising to come over regularly from now on. Just when life seems to be going in the right direction for Helena, her father's presence once again haunts her, as she bumps into a wolf with 3 legs in the middle of the street. That night, she notices Jacob near her bed, but it turns out to be a nightmare. In the morning, she spots mud all over the house. This makes her assume that Jacob has intruded with his muddy shoes. However, it only turns out to be Marigold's dirty shoes from the playground. Later, while she is strolling around the city, she overhears someone playing the bird flute. She even spots a man who matches the appearance of her father, but when she looks for him, he gets lost in the crowd. Because of all these occurrences, Helena becomes convinced that her father is still alive. So, to protect her family, she sets up a fence around her house with bells attached to it. She also sets up a trap to catch her father. That night, as she is about to go to bed, she hears the bells ringing. Alarmed, she grabs her favorite knife given by her father, and slowly heads outside. But to her shock, it's just an injured rabbit caught in the trap. Later on, she calls Clark, and tells him about the rabbit with an injured head in her trap, implying that the rabbit has been killed by someone before being put on the trap, but Clark thinks maybe it got injured some other way. In the morning, Helena finds her daughter playing with some stick figures, which she used to play with during her childhood. She has no idea where her daughter got those, and this makes her absolutely certain that her father is around. Scared, she immediately drops Marigold to school, and then approaches her husband at his office. She doesn't reveal anything to him, but simply mentions that she'll be away for a while. Stephen is worried by this, but Helena asserts that she cannot say anything, and promises this will be her last secret she's keeping from him. Following this, she drives to the same woods where her entire childhood was spent, and even switches off her cell phone to keep her location a secret. She is certain that her father is still living there. After reaching the end of the road, she brings out an inflatable boat, and traverses through the beautiful jungle. When she sees the beautiful swamps and waterfalls, she is taken to a trip down memory lane. But she quickly snaps out of her visions, and heads to the cabin which she used to call home. Once she gets inside, she hears someone's voice calling out to her, and shockingly finds her dad, still alive. After being apart for 20 years, the two reunite, and go out for a walk, and here Jacob reveals that he always thought about her. He takes her to various places in the forest, and reminds her of the times they spent together. Helena is both emotional and concerned, but she maintains a straight face. The old man then takes her by a river, where a boat is waiting for them. He asks Helena to bring her daughter, so that the 3 of them can cross over to Canada and start a new life. However, Helena vehemently refuses, claiming she has a family now. When the father claims they had a perfect life here, Helena recalls the time she saw her mother and father get out of the river. It turns out that her dad was drowning her mom in the river because she was trying to run away from him. Helena then expresses her desire to leave, while asking Jacob not to come near her family again. The old man is certainly saddened, but he hugs her daughter and lets her go. After a while, as Helena is preparing her long walk back, she is taken aback to find Clark. Turns out her husband informed the cops about her absence, and Clark came looking for her. Helena tries to lead him away, but then Jacob arrives and shoots him in the chest. The poor cop drops to the ground and dies a painful death, right in front of Helena's eyes. After this, the Marsh King drags her, and throws her inside a pit. He covers the top with an improvised bamboo lid, just like he used to during her childhood days. He then sets off to find Marigold, so that he can kidnap her and bring her here. It is here that Helena remembers the past, when her mother saved her from the pit, because she was the only one who cared for her. Back in the present, Helena becomes determined to save her daughter, so she uses the last of her strength, and starts climbing the pit. Once at the top, she hangs on the bamboo lid, until she breaks it. This finally gives her the opportunity to escape. But her mission has just begun, as she has to save her daughter. Helena knows where her father normally stores his guns, so she quickly goes to that spot, and retrieves a sniper. She then spots the father rowing away in the boat, and takes aim. However, due to the enormous pressure, she fails to hit him properly. Jacob quickly jumps into the river to escape, knowing that his daughter is after him. Helena pursues him tirelessly, until she comes across a field. She uses all the tricks that her father once taught her during her childhood. Unfortunately, despite her expertise, the old man still proves superior. He patiently hides in a puddle, and shoots her at the right time. But he only inflicts a flesh wound in her leg, as he still loves her. Jacob cuffs her hands, and orders her to lead him towards the boat she came with. Along the way, he tries to convince her that he truly cares for her, but Helena is having none of it. As the two pass a steep passage, Helena suddenly slips, and this leaves her hanging from the edge of the cliff. Jacob tries to pull her up, but this turns out to be her plan. They end up falling from the steep hill. Moments later, we are back to the opening scene. Helena's cuffs are broken due to the impact, but both of them are knocked unconscious. When she regains consciousness, she remembers her mother and her daughter, and she tries to reach a gun. But unfortunately, Jacob also gets up, and the two get into another tussle. But this time, Helena emerges victorious, as she grabs his gun and shoots him dead, finally bringing an end to this madness. She always remembers her dad's rule, that she must always protect her family, do whatever it takes. The movie ends as she somehow staggers to her boat, and rows away through the dense swamps.